right. There we go.
Oh my goodness, everybody. Look what I have in my hand. The new iPhone Air. First look, first impressions. I just picked this up.
All right, you guys, here it is. This is the iPhone Air. Not the 17 Air, straight up Air. And it is insanely thin. Like, I was genuinely shocked.
This is cloud white, all right? So what do we have here? If you look at this carefully, to break this down, this is 5.6 millimeters thin. Yes, this is...
And here it is. Here's the brand new iPhone 17 with this gorgeous new color. In this video, I'm obviously going to show you all of the new features, starting off with my favorite new feature, which is...
And just met the entire iPhone 17 series, but there's a new member of the family this year. It's the iPhone Air.
All right, this is the brand new iPhone 17. And yes, this is also a pretty cool device. It's got some very major upgrades this year.
I have in my hand the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and this one is all about the cameras. And you can see that they take up the whole back of the device. And there's a good reason for that.
Also, I brought my original iPhone, so I'm going to be taking some photos throughout the event and throughout the day, so I'll share those with you.
Hello there. Can we talk about the new iPhones? Right, so we've got 4 new iPhones, the 17, the Air, the Pro, and the Pro Max. What was interesting though is that when everyone ran to the hands-on area, it was the Air that was the most popular, the busiest.
I've just spent the last few hours hands-on with every new iPhone. So that's the way better than expected iPhone 17, this shockingly thin new iPhone Air.
All right, everybody, what are you looking at? The new iPhone 17 Pro, 6.3 inches, and the new iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, yes, I'm holding it this way. They look very similar from what you've seen before, but I'm gonna do a little rotation. And this is where you're gonna see the all-new, the thinnest iPhone we've ever had. Am I drinking the Kool-Aid? I'm gonna tell you in hand, this feels incredible.
To hold this in my hand. So this is the thinnest iPhone that Apple has ever made. And they say it still should have all-day battery life. We're gonna have to test that out in the real world.
Center stage. So right now, the selfie camera, as you can see, you've got a way much more ultra-wide camera. But here's the cool part. You can now tap this button, and it will shoot automatically a horizontal photo.
It's not the 17 Air, but it's in the family. It has a striking new design. It is super thin, as you might have guessed from the name.
First of all, it comes in 5 colors. We have sage right here in my hand.
3 48 megapixel cameras. We're going to get into all the new features right now.
The Apple event just ended and we have the brand new iPhone 17 Pros. We have that new camera bump and this new cosmic orange color. It is so aggressive.
Thought maybe given how the reception to the S25 Edge from Samsung was a bit that maybe people would be like, well, hey, it's a thinner iPhone, who cares?
And then the big boys, the 17 Pro and Pro Max. I'm not gonna lie to you, after the very slow event last year, this one is a complete reshuffle.
Plateau up top. This is housing new components. The camera, this aids, and also the thermals. This actual design has a vapor chamber for cooling.
So it's right in the middle of the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max. It's only 5.6 millimeters thin.
Obviously you have Apple's engineering, a titanium frame, completely polished.
So there's basically no need to take horizontal selfies anymore, because you can simply hold your phone just like this, and we can shoot a quick image. Say hello, Robert.
Just over 5 millimeters thick. That actually makes it a little bit thinner than the Samsung Galaxy Edge.
And then we also have lavender. We have less blue. We've got white. And then we also have a black color.
The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max feature a pretty big redesign that you're either going to love or hate.
Like, this is so Taylor Swift coded, like I can't even.
But it seems to have captured everyone's imagination, maybe just because it's actually something a little bit different from Apple, which we haven't seen in a while.
Like, this one changes how I see the entire iPhone lineup, because it starts with the basic iPhone 17.
This has an A19 Pro chip inside. You're gonna get all the advantages of the new CPU performance.
Like, this doesn't even feel real. Air is a really fitting name for this because it is super, super lightweight.
Boom, and just like that. So now by simply shooting the phone vertically, you've now got a full horizontal image, which is absolutely incredible.
Thing is though, while everyone's ogling the orange Pro and Pro Max and super slim Air, I think it's the base iPhone 17 that's actually maybe the one that most of us should buy. Now,
in terms of materials, we're looking at a titanium finish. This is polished, so it looks super shiny.
You can see the camera bump here. We've got all 3 of the cameras. This is the blue version, and these are the Pro.
Not only have they doubled the base storage, all iPhone 17s now have 256 gigs of storage. Samsung, Google, are you listening?
Which, when you first look at it, it's almost identical to the iPhone 16 last year. The same camera layout, the same buttons, super familiar design.
We got ceramic shield 2 in the front and ceramic shield in the back. So it's the first time we have ceramic shield in the back.
The so-called plateau on the back houses a seriously upgraded camera system that stretches across the back of the device.
So freaking useful. Another feature that iPhone users were heavily waiting on was the 120 Hz display coming to the base model.
This allowed them to also put in a larger battery inside of this as well.
So it's supposed to be super durable and like scratch and drop resistant. Hoping that's the case because this thing is so thin.
And houses a lot of components to make way for bigger batteries. I actually like the new look of the iPhone 17 Pro, as the huge camera array feels more pro than before.
So there is a larger version. Here's our displays. Now the first thing you're gonna notice is they do have some new colors.
We also have 120 Hz ProMotion for the first time. Thank the Tim Apple.
But this phone, before we had known about it, this is packing a lot of pro features. This is a 6.5-inch display, 120 Hz refresh rate.
And as you can see, iPhone 17 is now running on 120 Hz. This is actually a ProMotion display.
It needs to be. And it still has all of the buttons and features on the sides of the phone as well, like your volume controls, your action button.
Photos, vertical or horizontal. Here's our front facing.
In the sky, or well, more likely over there. So everything just feels smoother, whether it's games that support high refresh.
This little button right here, we switched to horizontal.
I don't know if it is, but it actually feels lighter in my hand. And I think it's because of the aluminum that they're using.
Power button over here, and even the camera control button. In terms of the camera, we're actually seeing a 48 megapixel fusion camera.
By comparison, the 17 Pro is 8.75 millimeters thick, so much thinner here.
But Apple demonstrated that there are multiple zooms that you can pull off with this. And when you jump into the camera, you can see you got that 1x and 2x zoom, but of course,
This is one of the new accessories. It's like this little body strap. Love it. We love to see it.
So you look at this design here, right? Thickness-wise, off the top of my head, it's probably, this is the Pro Max.
Just swiping around the home screen, everything you do will feel faster. And combined with that double base storage, honestly, that alone is enough.
Which is such a great feature to have. Should this feature could have come before on the iPhone? Maybe, but let's just be happy that it's finally here.
you can zoom in even more, all the way up to 10 times.
And they went from titanium to aluminum.
And this is the new tech woven case also. It's got a really nice feel to it.
For an upgrade for me. They've also made the screen brighter and tougher and added a bit of an anti-reflective coating to it.
But what's also special here is it's got that new center stage selfie camera up front.
ProMotion, everything that you expect here. The coating on this is the next generation of Ceramic Shield 2. That means it's 4 times stronger.
Although I can't say it's made that much difference. New chip, of course, the Apple A19, with Apple saying that the graphics are 20% faster than last year.
Now what this means that you're gonna get extremely smooth gaming. So in terms of Safari, for example, everything just smoothing in general just feels way much smoother.
And this thing is absolutely awesome because now you not only get a wider front-facing camera.
I love the color actually, and it really goes quite well with this green strap. Now the new telephoto will go up to 8x, so let's take a look at what that looks like.
On the front, 3 times stronger on the back. When we talk about this, you're looking at cloud white.
But because it's got a square sensor, basically what you can do is you can turn it into landscape mode.
Also, the bezels, as you can see, of the iPhone 17 have also gotten way thinner.
right now. But then we've got the completely new $999 iPhone Air. And this is where things get very interesting. So this is Apple's latest attempt at filling that awkward middle child slot in their lineup. In 2020, they made the iPhone mini, but then realized that no one wanted mini phones. Then in 2022, they changed that for the Plus, which failed too because it just didn't do enough differently. So instead of shrinking or stretching, Apple's decided that now it's time to try flattening. And I'm going to be honest with you, this phone absolutely creates an impression. Like the first time I picked the thing up, my mouth involuntarily formed a silent O as I truly came to terms with how, at 5.6 millimeters, this is thinner than any previous iPhone. This is thinner than Samsung's ultra slim Galaxy S25 Edge. The thing's thinner than a pencil. But the other thing is, it also feels a lot more luxury than I was expecting it to. When I watched the thing get announced, I thought, oh, it looks kind of flimsy and so light that it's a bit cheap. But it really doesn't feel it, especially with this glossy titanium rail going all the way around the sides and the ceramic shield that you've now got on the back. I think the 17 Air is made for the kind of person who cares enough about their phone to not just take the base 17, but also someone who isn't so into the specs that they'll worry about what they're missing compared to the Pros. And I think if you are that kind of person, you will look at this Air, you will compare it to all past experiences you've had with iPhones, and you will think, this is a miracle. But I see this product kind of like the really hot girl that you probably shouldn't try to date. You know it's bad news. You know it's not going to last. But let's be honest, you're probably going to try your luck anyway. But the truth is, you're making two pretty fundamental compromises for this thinness. The battery, which Apple helpfully tells us is still an all-day battery, but whose day? So this is a smaller battery than you get on every other iPhone released this year. And it doesn't exactly reassure me that Apple has specifically made a MagSafe power bank designed to slip onto the Air, and that when they quoted the battery life of the Air, they quoted the figure that assumed you had this battery pack attached. But then, according to Apple, because of all the efficiency improvements of their new A19 chips and this new N1 chip that handles Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and AirDrop, that this tiny sliver of a phone has the same battery life as the 16 Pro. I mean, if that's true, that is absolutely bonkers. I will start prepping the battery test immediately. But sadly, it's not just battery. You're also getting slower charging. You're only getting one speaker, which is really poor in 2025. And then the other big one is you're also losing the ultra-wide camera that you would have had on the normal iPhone 17. And yeah, the one camera you do get is a decent 48 megapixel sensor, basically the same as the one on the 17. But this does mean this is a single rear camera on a $1,000 phone in almost 2026, which, tell me that's not form over function. I mean, to be fair, it might work for Apple. It's exactly what they did with the MacBook Air, and that's now their best-selling laptop by a mile. But my take is that the weight and the thickness of a normal phone is not enough of a problem to need this drastic of a solution. It's a very alluring phone, and you can so see how they're going to market it to the average consumer as a way to get Pro performance, since it does come with the new more powerful A19 Pro chip. But I actually think there'll be a very large difference in how that chip performs in this compared to in the actual Pro phones. So let's talk about those pros. I think the fact that the base iPhone 17 now has all the previously Pro features, and that the Air has become the pretty phone, the phone for people who just want their device to look sexy, means that this year it really feels like Apple has been freed up to just prioritize function over form on these models. These are the most clearly actually made for pros Pro iPhones I have ever seen, which is probably why they now feel comfortable charging the new higher prices of $1,099 for the Pro, which is pretty much the highest amount anyone is charging for a non-XL size device, and then $1,199 for the Pro Max. So there's a few ways you can see this function-first approach in action. Like the first is, these are thicker. Both the 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max, they're almost 8% thicker than their previous counterparts, which is by its nature less stylish, but you know what makes a phone truly beautiful? It is just having a big, fat battery on the inside. And that these do. Apple's saying you'll get up to 33 hours of battery on the 17 Pro, which is a very healthy jump from the 27 on the 16 Pro, and then 39 on the Pro Max this time. All while having the side effect that I'm absolutely sure Apple has thought through of making the Air look even thinner when you hold them side by side. But there's more. You'll also notice these Pros look very different to last year's. Again, there is functional reason. You might know that for a long time now, pretty much every smartphone has had metal all around the sides and then a glass sheet across the back, because you can still wirelessly charge your phone through glass. But there's a problem. Glass is absolutely terrible at dissipating heat. So this time, the iPhone 17 Pros are metal everywhere. except the specific zone where they have to be glass, or I guess ceramic shield this time around. This kind of window from here to here. So they've sacrificed on the minimalism of the design, but this metal should be, like, no exaggeration, 200 times better at getting heat from inside the phone to outside the phone, which is also paired with a vapor chamber for the first time ever on an iPhone, and a swap from titanium as the metal of choice to aluminium. Which, look, the choice to go with aluminium is fine. It's a very standard material that's still used in many flagship phones, and it might be an improvement. It's lighter than titanium, it's over 10 times more conductive, it's easier to color, which is the only reason how they've been able to make the first actually interesting Pro iPhone color in far too long. This bronzy orange, which is definitely the one that I'm going to try and get. My issue with this situation is that Apple just switched to titanium 2 years ago. And when they did that, they made a massive deal about it. It was the headline feature of the iPhone 15 Pros. And they didn't stop talking about how much more beautiful the phones were because of this titanium. So it just feels a little bit cheeky to now quietly be like, it's aluminium, like every other phone, and then proudly talk about all the reasons why the new phones are better that are just because it is aluminium. But anyway, put all these things together and the iPhone 17 Pros should run a lot cooler, which is not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is needed. It'll make the phones perform a lot better, especially with the new A19 Pro chip. I tried some gaming on this and I'm not normally too taken aback by mobile gaming demos, but this actually was the most graphically impressive, smooth gaming experience I have ever had on a smartphone. They should charge faster, because charging is also programmed to slow down when things get hot. Honestly, I'll be happy if this just means my phone won't dim its screen to 0 brightness the minute the weather forecast changes to predict sun. But the thing that I'm most curious about is what's happening with the cameras. So the Pros get the same square front camera sensor that can do both orientations. And the other big change is the telephoto camera is going from 5 times optical zoom with a 12 megapixel resolution to 4 times optical zoom, but with a 48 megapixel resolution, which should actually be a double-sided upgrade, because it means that when you're zooming in, you don't have to wait all the way till 5 times before your telephoto camera kicks in. So the quality in the early part of your zoom is better, but also because you have 4 times the number of pixels, even though the optical zoom number is slightly lower, it should mean your photos look better, even when you go really far in. And that's the iPhone 17s. Very impressed with the base phone, interested by the Air, and then I feel like the Pros could have done a little bit more, but they're solid. Shockingly little mention of Apple Intelligence this time around, but I kind of prefer that because it means we get a bit more on the hardware end compared to the iPhone 16 generation. But now there's no titanium, it's like all the more reason to just get a Taurus case. Their Q3 Air has literal airbags inside of it. So cushioned, it doesn't matter how many times you drop the thing. But also, it's the only phone case that actually makes your life easier. I use the magnet on the back all the time to quickly snap it onto things to take videos. I use this stand every day so I can call someone while I'm eating, or hook it around something so I can watch a show while showering. And I've seen so many companies trying to copy this design, but this is the real deal. Strongest magnet, sturdiest hinge, grippiest sides. Plus, their FlexLine charger is a lifesaver when I'm traveling, because this one brick replaces 2 high-speed chargers, but also with a baked-in retractable USB-C cable. Link below to have a look yourself.